All right, let's get back to manipulating strings. So what I'm gonna do is just gonna highlight out this line, because if you remember, just a quick refresher, uh, if you want to print out one of those pieces of all stuff, you can do that, and we're doing it through the read lines. And if you want to look at the entire all stuff, it puts it in a list with a /n there. Now the book will suggest that you do something more along the lines of this, and it's not a bad idea. I'm going to leave that there for a second. Instead of just doing a total grab, even though I kind of like that idea, we do put a for statement in, say for line, or excuse me, yeah, why don't you say line in, what's our name here, our file, a colon. Now, if you notice, we definitely want to make sure that we grab, or we put this line, so we nested essentially a for statement inside that with, or the file grab. And let's go ahead and let's just do a print here. So I'm going to, for this moment in time, I'm going to do a print line. And if you do that, you're going to say, hi, I'm your file, my name is input. If you note the difference here, they actually put 3 different lines in there, this second line being empty, because that is actually that return that, or the carriage return, that doesn't exist, or I shouldn't say doesn't exist, but it doesn't have any visual presence. So what some people will do is do a R strip there, and then when we play it, we lose that space in between hi, I'm your file and the my name is input. So at this point, you can deal with it in 2 different ways. We can actually go through a for loop and grab all those pieces, or we can treat it like a super long list and grab and make the pieces better. I think I shouldn't say better. I don't know. I don't know what I meant. But take those individual strips and then use that for statement to organize them. But check this out. Let's try one more thing. I'm going to get rid of that for statement again. I'm going to get rid of the print stuff again, and I'm going to bring back the all stuff. And I just want to make sure it's online, so with our thing, and so we're going to read all those lines, but instead of doing a strip, what I want to do is a split. So when I bring it back, so first off, let's take a look at what we got. We're going to get that nice list. What I want to get is type the word in split here, and this probably will give you an error. So let's give it a run. It'll give you an error that looks like this, because what it wants to do is not grab everything. And let me expand it out. Okay, it's not going to let me. Yeah, it won't let me expand it. So it says in line 9, print also if absolute list has no attribute split, because what we're doing is we're trying to operate on that entire list of it. Now let's go ahead and take this out of it and just do a read. If we do this, now all of a sudden take a look at it. The read lines threw it into a list, and then we tried to operate that split on the list. But if we just don't do that, just grab everything as the superstring, we can grab each of these individual pieces. And the way it grabs those individual pieces, it will look for blank spaces. So let's go ahead and pull that up before, just so we know what we're looking at. Wherever there's a blank space, that means to stop and say, okay, there's a word. One word ends and another word's about to begin. Now, if you notice, it will grab the commas. It will grab the period. Since the periods, it'll assume that the period is part of this word, so you have to be a little bit careful about that. It will think the comma is part of this word. But at least you can now break this up into pieces. And on your homework, what I ask you to do is kind of manipulate some numbers. And I think I throw a special character in there, or excuse me, a non-numeric character in there, which is a little harder to read. Well, so we're going to deal with that when we talk about exceptions, but really what you're doing is if you have a set of numbers in here, like let's say I am your for file, and I hit S, and let me rerun this. That for is its own string now in a list of strings. So you can get to it by going to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, isn't that convenient? So let's turn that on. Turn that to 4. And I'm going to get out of there. And let's run it again. And it said that I is the fourth one. Oh, isn't that interesting? 0. Oh, I just realized what I did. I put the print statement after the all stuff split, because if you look at all stuff, if I just did a print all stuff at this point, print all stuff, it is just this long list. So when you pick out 4, it actually goes to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, I should say this: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the I is the fourth. But after you split it, and maybe this is probably a better way to do it. We'll call this file underscore list equals Control C. Let's get rid of that too. And then print the reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to take what I get out of here and put it in a new list. So if I run this, then I get these in individual lists, and then I can do the print file list and then do a 4 and get a 4. So there's the 4 there, because it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we get in the right spot. So I can now grab that number 4, but remember, this is going to be in a string format. Even though it looks like a 4, it's actually not a 4. So if I were to say something of this nature, actually I'm just going to do this. I is equal to 5. And then j is equal to I plus file is 4. If I go ahead and do that, it gives me an error, and the reason being an error is because this is a file list 4. Well, what's the problem with that? Well, we have to remember, we have to parse that now. So if I wanted to actually make that work, how would I do that? Oops, first let me get rid of that parenthesis. And it still should give you an error, but now it's not a parenthesis error. It is an exception error because it wants you to convert it to a string. So how do you do that? Let's go ahead, hit stop, and just remember our friendly old Python has this available to it, where we can take this and change it into an int. We can take and that includes a string. And in fact, let's just make sure it's doing it correctly by doing print j at the end. So there we go. And sure enough, that works. So it takes the 4, changes it into a real 4, and adds it to 5. 5 plus 4 is equal to 9. And I think that will work. And so now we can grab any of these. The book likes to stick with the 4 lines and manipulate them within the 4 lines. That's fine if that's what you enjoy. Either way works. Just give one of them a try, and or both, and just see which one you like better.